Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, teachers. How are you today? And welcome back in King Conference 2022. Hear me again. I'm May here. Today I'd like to share about teaching grammar and vocabularies. Okay. So teacher, do you still remember what method or techniques that you use in your grammar and vocabulary class? Did you use, was that cards or flashcard, or was that? What kind of method do you use? Okay, I hope every single techniques that you use, I hope it was that based on the theory and principles, okay? Okay, let's check this brown chapter. All right, in this chapter we have 4 essential parts here that I will share to you all. The first one about 3 dimensions of grammar. And then the second one is approaches to form and focus instruction. The next one is grammar techniques. And the last one I will share about teaching vocabulary. So the first one, 3 dimensions of grammar. Okay, we will learn about grammar. We have to know about these dimensions. Okay, the first one, we talk about form. Form is the structure of the sentence. For example, I like ice cream. So from this sentence, we have subject, verb, and object. Okay, and the next one is the meaning. Okay, grammar will tell the meaning of a sentence. Okay, what each word mean. Grammar explain it. Okay, for example, that's enough. That is for the previous sentence, and is for a particular state, and enough is for the sufficient. And the last one is use. Okay, what is your sentence use? Okay, using language, please use language correctly. For example, that's enough. Okay, Brown gives this example, that's enough. That's enough can be used for many things. For example, okay, there is a baby crying, okay, a crying baby there. So we can say that that's enough to the baby, or mean that stop crying, okay. And you can use it for our friends where they're put a water, and then we can say stop pouring the water too much, okay. And we can say that's enough, all right. Then the second one, we talk about approaches to form a focus instruction. Okay, approaches to, okay, we have explicit instruction. Okay, when we give the instruction for the grammar class, you can, give the instruction explicitly. Okay, it means that clearly showing the rules. You can use it in deductive or inductive. Okay, for the deductive, means that you're using a jargon. For example, you can mention it clearly before before the activity. Okay, student, today we would like to learn about past tense, for example, like that. And inductive, okay, means that your student have to find the pattern. Okay, you give some examples first, and then the last one you can sum up. Okay, you can give the summarize. Okay, today we have learned about past tense, for example, like that. And we have implicit instruction. Okay, for this one, the instruction is not clear. Okay, not clear explanation of the rules. Okay, you can use it for often use in task-based language teaching. All right. Then you can use focus on form. Okay, this is incidental learning. Okay, you can use it for encouraging students to notice how language is used. And you can, okay, after that you can give your student feedback on error. Okay, I hope you remember about the local errors and global errors. Okay, let us reflect on our giving feedback in our class. Okay, how do you give your feedback to your student? Do you give it in explicitly or implicitly? Okay, I have a special slide to discuss about the feedback. Then the last one, for the instruction, you can use a lexical grammatical approach. Okay, this one you can use it to analyze lexical item. Okay, you can use the lexicogrammatical error worksheet. For example, ask your student to differentiate between bored and boring. That's how to use this approach. Then, okay, about the feedback on errors. Okay, there are two. I mentioned that before. There are two errors, right? The first one, local error, and the second one is global error. And for the local errors, the grammatical and rhetorical discourse errors is normally delayed until learners have complete one or two draft or a paper. Okay, you have to you need some time. Okay, and then after they finish their work, and then you can do feedback. If it's global errors, okay, then you have to give the feedback earlier. Okay, earlier in the process. Okay, you don't need to wait it until the student finish the task. Okay, so on a brown book at page 471 said, okay, this is the way how to give a feedback to your student, especially in grammar. Okay, the tutor means that you, a teacher, okay, you can ask the learner to read and find the error and correct them independently. Okay, and then you can use the collaborative one. Okay, construct of a collaborative frame and promote by presence of the teacher as a potential dialogue partner. And then you can prompt it or focus on reading of sentence that contains the error by learner or the tutor. And then the third one is tutor. The next one is tutor indicates that something may be wrong in a segment. For example, a sentence, clause, or line. For example, for the example is there any wrong in this sentence? Okay, you ask it directly. Then tutor can reject unsuccessful attempt at recognizing the error. And then the last one is tutor narrows down the location of the error. For example, tutor repeats or points to the specific segment which contains the error. Okay, the next one is tutor can indicate the nature of error but does not identify the error. For example, there's something wrong in the tenses making here. Okay, another way to give the feedback, you can identify the error, and then you can also reject the learners for the unsuccessful attempt at the correcting error too. And then teacher can provide clue to help the learner arrive at the correct form. And then as a teacher, we should provide the correct form too, and provide some explanation for use of the correct form. And the last one is provide example of the correct pattern when other form of help fail to produce an appropriate response action. Well, then we already know about that one. Then we continue. Okay, let us see about the techniques, grammar techniques. I mean about the techniques in teaching grammar. Okay, before we talk about the techniques, let's take a look about the principles for teaching grammar. Okay, you can read it. You can read it more in page 473. Okay, the first principle that you have to know. Okay, please make sure that you know about the three dimensions that I mentioned before. The first one is use, the second one is the meaning, and the last one is the form. Okay, the second one is take a lexicogrammatical approach to presenting new linguistic item to your students. Okay. Then learners need to have the opportunity to practice and use form in communicative tasks. Right. Then often to both input-based comprehension and output-based production grammar and vocabularies. And then the fifth principle, deductive, inductive, and adjunctive approaches can be useful depending on the goals. Okay, the next one is incidental focus on from is valuable in that it treats errors that occur while learners are engaged in meaningful communication. Okay, the sixth one is correct feedback and can facilitate acquisition if it involves a mixture of implicit and explicit feedback. And the seventh one is explicit grammar lessons and implicit grammar integrated with communicative activities. And then the last one is instruction needs to consider learners' individual difference. Okay, you have to know about your individual learners too. All right, then grammatical techniques. Okay, there are 6 techniques that Brown promotes here. Okay, the first one about charts, object, maps, and drawing. Okay, visual showing sentences structure often helps students understand rules more easily. I give you 2 examples here. The first one, I use drawing. Okay, what picture is it? It's a bridge. Okay, what grammar we will teach? Okay, we will use this picture. We can use this picture to teach conjunction. Okay, conjunction can to connect 2 sentences there. So your student can memorize it easily if you use a very interesting picture. Okay, for example, we can learn about conjunction and but and or and many things about the conjunction. And you also can use chart, tables, object. For example, this is from Brown examples. Okay, the grammar will talk about adverb of frequency. Okay, for example, there is a table there. There never, seldom, sometimes, often, usually, and always. Okay, for example, number 1, Keiko works hard. So where is the adverb of frequency that's suitable for number 1? Okay, it's always. Okay, and how about number 3? She is late or sick. Okay, which one? The suitable one? Is it never, seldom? Okay, what's that? I think this activity makes your student memorize the grammar longer. Okay, then you only explain it. Right. Next, you can use dialogue or conversation. Okay, so how to use this technique? Okay, have students practice the conversation before or after explaining the grammar. Okay, this is the example from Brown. Okay, you can use an audio before the activity. Ask the student to listen it. Don't forget to give the background information, and then you ask them to practice after you play the audio, or you can ask that, or the model of the conversation, and then ask your student to analyze maybe about the grammar, what is inside the conversation. Next, we can use input enhancement. Okay, these techniques you have to do slow down and stress for the important words. For example, this is a paragraph. When you tell about this paragraph, don't forget to emphasize and you do some repetition in the grammar. What will you use at that time? Okay, for example, we will talk about this Okay, we will talk about grammar about the has taught me. Okay, for example, for this paragraph. Okay, about the part. Okay, for example, the teacher has told me, okay, I have homework today, and then I have a look at it. Okay, you have to emphasize about the after has, what was that, what verb form will you use that? Oh, it's past participle. Okay, so you have to emphasize it at that point. Then about the next technique is input flood. Okay, you need, it's similar with the previous one, but previous one with your voice should play with your stress written like that, and this one you use the grammar point many times in your classroom. Okay, for example, there is a paragraph again. Okay, we talk about past tense here, I think. Yes, it's a past tense. For example, a chipmunk sat on some branches. Okay, and then we do some repetition again in every single sentence. Okay, for example, like that, I pick some random sample. It climbed off, and then chipmunk saw, and then the chipmunk had. Yeah, for example. Then we have input processing techniques. Okay, teachers give hints about the grammar pattern. Okay, for example, the teacher will teach about, or maybe the teacher will want to ask the student the difference between present tense and past tense, for example, like that. So there is a worksheet, and then for example, number 1, teacher give clue about the time form, right? Is it now or before, for example, like that. For number 1, the teacher corrected the easy. Oh, corrected it the past form. So is it now or before? Okay, the student can think about it when the teacher only give a clue. Okay, a simple clue, now or before, like that. Then I pick another sample. Okay. Oh, the trees go green in the spring. Okay, so trees go green. Okay, go is the present form. So is it now or before? If it's present. Okay, that's some example. Then okay, this is an interesting technique that I haven't tried it in my classroom. Dictogloss. Okay, students interact in groups of 3 to 4 to reconstruct a passage they have heard. Okay, you can ask your student to read this passage, and then don't forget again about the schemata if you do it for the listening class. Okay, tell about a brief explanation about friendship. Okay, you can give information, what kind of a good friend, do you have a close friend or not, something like that. And then we go on to the passage, and you can ask your student to read or to hear it, okay, based on your kuliah. Then after that, ask your student to reconstruct this passage based on their knowledge. Okay, and then after that, you have to correct the grammar, especially in this case, you can reconstruct about relative clause. Okay, how it works for your student. Okay, the last one about teaching vocabularies. Okay, how do you teach your teachers? Okay, maybe it's, our favorite method is using flashcard, right? So is it correct or not using a flashcard? Okay, let's take a look. Okay, teaching vocabularies. Okay, to teach a vocabulary, you can use allocate times. Okay, why allocate times? Okay, learn and review the words about 10 times to help and remember your student. Okay, a little bit every day counts. Okay, so maybe you can ask your student, give your homework. Okay, please memorize 10 vocabularies a day. Okay, it will it will help your student to improve their vocabulary as every day. And then you can use vocabulary in context. Okay, learn and remember how the words are used in natural speech. Okay, you can combine this one with your flashcard. For example, the flashcard, especially this one is very useful for the young learner. For them to gain many vocabularies. If you have a flashcard, you don't need to you not only ask them about what is this, what picture is this, okay, but also you have to connect it with the natural speech. For example, oh, look at this is a blue ball, for example, like that. So they can learn it from it. Okay, they know. And then you can give another example. Oh, I kicked the ball. Oh, and then your student know, oh, I have to kick the ball. Oh, I throw the ball, for example, like that. Not only mention what the thing in your flashcard, but you have to connect it. Okay, use the vocabulary in context. Yeah, for the natural speech. Yes, like that. Then you can use unplanned teaching, okay, to teach your vocabularies. Okay, how to use these techniques? Okay, you can watch movies and reading magazine can increase the number of opportunity for impromptu learning. Yes, okay. If your student read many things, so they have a rich library inside their mind, right? So ask them to read a lot and then listen a lot, yeah. But they can watch a movie. Okay, I have an experience about watching movie and teaching vocabulary for intermediate students. I was using Frozen cartoon movie, the Frozen 1 cartoon movie. But for my research, I used English subtitle. So the movie is English, and the subtitle of course in English. So when they heard something and then they read it, okay, then after that, and then I did an experimental class, and then yeah, the student watch English movie with the English subtitle. Yeah, they gave many vocabularies. Then student watch an English movie with Indonesian subtitle, like that. Then, and I think this one also for an unplanned teaching. You can use it for the grammar too, because where the movie subtitle can help the student about the grammatical form. For example, I like apple. Oh, I forgot the subtitle, but my student asks about I like and like. Okay, then miss what is the difference between I like and I'm like. Okay, so this is interesting, right? For the watching movie. Then the last one is guessing strategies. You can learn roots and suffix, prefix, and other strategies to help guess the meaning of words. Okay, you can use it. Maybe this one you can use your flashcard, and then yes, you show it. Maybe the flashcard maybe is harder, and then yes, you can play guessing game, something like that, to improve your student vocabulary. All right, that's all my explanation. So, do you have any questions?
Hi, Miss May.
Yes,
Okay,
hi.
Miss May, some students think that learning grammar is boring and make them sleepy. Can you give me some tips how to stimulate students in grammar lessons so that they can like grammar? Thank you.
Yes, nice question. Yeah, my students said the same thing. So after I read this book, you can use these techniques. Wait. Okay, how about using picture drawing? Give some, some clues about, yeah, maybe you can, you can give a picture that connect with your grammar, and then you can use this, make a list or survey like that, and then ask them to interview their friends, and then ask them to write it, and then after the project you can, you can correct it, give some feedback about their grammar. And you can use the conversation, ask them to hear it, and then you can drill them with maybe you can use another in the speaking, teaching speaking, right? There are some techniques too. You can combine it with the techniques in the teaching speaking, I think. Okay, next question, please.
All right. Hi, Miss May.
Hi.
So, I want you to know, based on your experience, how to emphasize the use of grammar in classroom for adult learners. Because sometimes this happen in my classroom. After we do the repetition, they still forget it easily. So, which grammar technique that will be suitable for them? Thank you.
Right. I suggest you about these techniques, not this one. I think this is suitable for dictogloss. It's suitable for the adult learner. Okay, ask them to reconstruct your passage or your conversation, and then after that you can correct their grammar. After that, I think this is one suitable for the adult learner. Thank you. And next question, please.
All right, Miss May. I have a question related to the giving list of words that student needs to remember. But we have to consider as well that there is literal meaning, and also implied meaning. So when we give the list of words, how do we make sure that students understand the implied meaning, also the literal meaning, and how do we make sure students will use it correctly in the correct grammar structure?
All right. Okay, I think it has that connection, yeah, with the grammar and vocabularies. This nice question. So that's why Brown said that vocabulary in context. Don't forget to remember the words, the vocabulary that you give to your student after they remember it, and then after you give their homework, right, for the to memorize the vocabularies. Then after they back to the class, okay, please do review, okay, please do review for the vocabularies, and then you can use it for making sentence. If they make mistake, it's fine, right? And then you can give a feedback. Okay. And don't forget after after you give them the vocabulary list, don't forget to you give an example too, and then connect it with the reality so they will know it. Okay. So we are teacher, we facilitate them too. Okay.
Miss May.
Yes.
Yeah. Talking about grammar is always interesting and challenging, yes. When we teach grammar and vocabulary items, when we introduce the new grammar and vocabulary items, what do you think about comparing the English grammar or vocabulary words, for example, comparing the English ones and our language is Indonesian. So, for example, when we introduce the passive of English and then we compare the passive in Indonesian, or when we teach new words of English and then we give the translations, what do you think about this technique or this way? Do you think it's effective, or what's the best we can do? Thank you.
Okay, that's nothing wrong with that techniques actually, yeah, because we have grammar translation method. So as long as the student will catch the point faster, and then after that we do some review and then know about the context. Yes, please do. Okay, don't worry about the techniques. Okay, so and advantages of the us. We are not a native speaker, but we teach their language. Okay, when we teach about, for example, the passive voice, we know the context in Bahasa Indonesia, but a native maybe they don't know about the context itself, right? So yes, it doesn't matter to translate it, I think so.
How would you convince your students that they need good grammar in order to become good communicators?
Okay, can you repeat it again?
How would you convince your students that they need to have good grammar mastery in order to become good communicators?
Okay, I get it, point. So, okay, it's so too long. Okay, this point. Okay, we have to remember that, not this one. Okay, wait. Okay, the 3 dimension of grammar. Okay, form, meaning, and use. Okay, the grammar helps us to explain the meaning without we tell what is the meaning itself. Okay, so if they want to be a good communicator, so they have to know good grammar too, because if when the grammar is good, okay, another person that will hear it, okay, oh, I got your point, without long explanation like that. So yes, that's my answer. That's all. Okay, thank you so much for your attention, and that's my presentation. Thank you so much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.